No idea what this is, but apparently EO made a nude hue skate.
Imagine a world where drama, shit posting, shit talking, whining, and complaining weren't a daily part of the gacha gaming community. Well, I can't. So today we're going to talk about the reality of things and how the gacha gaming community is and will always be a cesspool. I don't know if you guys have heard the recent news. I hadn't until my community started telling me, yo, you should react to this because they know I haven't really been making content. As y'all know, I got my channels nuked by some hackers and pretty much lost all of my gacha gaming content. Ever since that happened, I kind of took a break from content creating and decided to just play my games on the side. I had to go get a real job because things have been crazy at home. So, hey, hold on. If you want to help your boy out, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on bell notifications. It would mean a lot to me. I'm trying to slowly get back into the rhythm of content creating, and I would love to have all y'all support. But with that out of the way, let's talk about this video. So here I was minding my business, and people from my Discord, just some of the homies that have been playing gacha games with me for years now, started sending me a lot of pictures, a lot of messages from the community and what other creators are talking about. And apparently, huge drama is starting to appear regarding Wuthering Waves, and it all revolves mainly around one creator that, as we know, has posted some stuff in the past that has made people a little bit angry, a little bit vocal about their opinions. So we're going to take a look at that, but I just want to say this video is by no means a Wuwa shill post or a Wuwa hater post. In all reality, I love my games, but I don't think none of them are great. I just think they're good time sinks. You know what I mean? Like, if you're someone that thinks any gacha game, in particular gacha games, are amazing, great, and perfect, you might want to go get your brain checked because they are the bottom tier of gaming. So with that, once again, out of the way, let's talk about the post that sparked this video. So you guys wanted me to react. You guys know who you are, the homies from the Discord, to this here post by Yoku. Shout out to Yoku. And this is the post that he had, and I will be reacting to it, okay? So first off, it starts off like this. Had a banger combo with some amazing creators about the current roster of gacha games, but primarily Wuthering Waves' potential. A couple key takeaways without digging into too much detail. I just want to say, I hope that at some point he says who these creators are, because as someone that has made content before, given opinions, people will come at you, and you not citing who it was that you were talking with to generate your opinions is going to have people questioning the validity of your opinions or your statements, right? So if this was a pretty big conversation that you had with someone, I feel that you should at least tag them unless they specifically said, yo, I do not want to be tagged in your content, which at that point is kind of sketchy. I mean, if you have an opinion, you're vocal about it, and you have no shame in what you're saying, you don't have any takebacks, and you stand by what you said, I don't see why you can't be tagged in a post like this, especially when the thing has this many views. This thing is easily going to reach 500,000 views, so it could be good publicity for you if you had some valid takes and some people do side with you, because there's always going to be people that side with you and those that attack you. So let's continue. Wuwa's downfall will be that of the community public perception. If they continue down this path, criticism is not y'all's enemy. Okay, first off, I've been in this scenario where you criticize something and people come at you. I just want to say there's a very, very clear line between criticism and constructive criticism. If you don't like something, just move away from it. You don't have to stay there continuously shit talking. That's where people want to come at your neck. That's criticism, right? Constructive criticism is when you're standing there saying how something is not good, and then you give ideas as to how it can be better. And that is totally valid, and it's usually in the best interest of something. Now, if you cannot distinguish between those two things, you're going to have a lot of enemies in the way, because you're going to pretty much come out as either a hater or someone looking to improve the game, right? So, next topic. Figureheads of these spaces need to hold more accountability, acceptance in their position of power, voice, and police shame the community together. I don't really know what he means by this. Police shame the community together. I mean, I'm very vocal about my stuff, man. If someone's talking goofy, if the community is being weird about something, I call them out without any problem whatsoever, but I don't think that's ever going to change something, right? Like if you have someone out here saying, yo, Wuthering Waves is the worst game of all time, it's a Genshin clone, it's just copying Genshin Impact, and then you tell them, no, you're wrong. It's the best game ever. It's so different than Genshin Impact, and you got to stop doing this. It ain't going to do anything. You will not change people's opinions with mere blank statements. You might want to give some, information, provide some examples of what exactly you mean to maybe persuade them to change their opinion. The next thing is S-tier content that isn't a React or guide. Bro, listen, I'm all for this. I've been a content creator for like 9-10 years now, and I've always tried to make fun videos, things that stem away from reacts and guides. I'm very new to reacts, but guides in particular have always been my thing. But I do always try to make videos that, separate themselves from the usual guides. But let's be honest, when it comes to content creation for gacha games, the things that generate the most views and the most traffics are reacts and guides. So if you want to provide the medium for us to do this, by all means, tell us how. How can you make content? How can creators make content for gacha games, right? Especially games like Wuthering Waves, where we would still get thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and at the same time, the community would be pleased. Because I've seen a lot of creators make pretty fun videos. One of my homies was trying to make like a game show with Wuthering Waves, and the thing never took off. And it's not because it wasn't a good video. It was because at the end of the day, when it comes to gacha gaming, reacts and guides is what runs the market. I 100% agree that we need more content out there, but what? What content needs to be made? Maybe give us some examples, or maybe do some yourself and lead with example. That would be amazing, right? Kuro needs to get more directly involved with benefiting their creators. Now, I was pretty big at one point with Wuthering Waves, averaging 10, 20, 30,000 views per video every single day. And Kuro never reached out to me, bro. They never messaged me. They never did anything. So I could see where this is, an issue, but that might just be a personal problem. I might just be a nobody when it comes to this big things. I was just coming up. So there's that. But I have heard that Kuro is quite involved with a lot of their bigger creators, the figureheads, as you stated, EO. So maybe they just haven't reached out to some other creators. And I don't think that it's them needing to be more involved with their creators, but I feel that maybe their marketing needs to be more involved. That's one thing that does need to improve. Kuro is going to fail at their vision if they don't quickly establish Wu as its own thing and not a Genshin plus XYZ identity. I don't know how to do this, bro, because the comparisons are always going to be there, right? We have Neverness to Everness, Ananta, we have all these games that are coming out that are very similar to Genshin. And Genshin is very similar to other games. It's just the way it is. When there's a formula that's working, you can improve upon it or change it to have things that are different, but the core of it is always going to be very similar, right? So I don't know how this is going to be a thing. I feel that its identity is already pretty different from that of Genshin Impact, a lot darker, a lot more hardcore-y, more sharp, dark, if you can, get where I'm coming from. But it is already different than Genshin. The comparisons will always be there, yada, 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 but it does feel very different from it. Most of the systems in WUA have no real purpose relative to the game itself, which further separates the identity. Example, multiple features inspired from other mediums, but not fleshed out enough for their own game. Okay, so the first part where it says no real purpose relative to the game itself, I kind of agree with this. I feel that there are a lot of these features in the game that don't really have a purpose because you can just do everything pretty much the same way in most content, right? But then the next part, multiple features inspired from other mediums, but not fleshed out enough for their own game. Once again, I feel that is criticism without the inspiration to make things better. It's just flat out criticism, like, yo, your game has all these features that are inspired from other games, but they're not fleshed out. They're not as good in your game, right? And I feel that that's pretty much with everything. all these games have things that they copy from one another, and they might not be as good as they are in one of the games, but they still stand out for other things, right? The next thing is immerse the player in the actual game, not the concept of better than Genshin. See, now I don't know where that is coming from. I feel that I'm starting to thread down a certain path that has been Genshin, other games, woo-wah, right? Like that's where I'm reading this at right now. I don't see where not the concept of better than Genshin comes out, because that is not how the devs are marketing their game, right? They're just doing what they're doing, and it is what it is, you know? It's players that see it this way. And how do you change a player's perspective, especially in gacha games where players have their heads so far up their own ass they can taste what they had for breakfast? So, you know, Wuwa is missing glue to the system. Top 3 most important to the game's problems. I feel that, yes, there are some mechanics that are a little bit loose, like some of y'all's mother, but I don't feel like it's missing too much glue. I do feel like there is great mechanics, synergies with characters, synergies within the game's content that make it all stick together quite well. And I feel that, yes, it needs to maybe get into itself a bit more, but once again, there is plenty of time before we get to the point where we can say, okay, the game is an absolute failure, or the game is actually evolving. And if we're keeping it real, you cannot tell me that 1.0 Wuthering Waves is the same game we have now. There has been a ton of quality of life changes, a ton of improvements, and the devs constantly communicating. So once again, I don't want to sound like a woo-wah glacier, but you know, we keep it real. The game has improved and it has gotten better. Now, he ends this with, I'm hopeful for V2 hitting the ground hard and handling a lot of issues that have been brought to light, as well as those that are major problems, but the vocal majority has shunned. A lot of these can be solved with the quickness, but take effort and willing parties. Tons of people like to pull the wool over their eyes until they smell the house burning down, and by then, it's too late. I just want to say this, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I ain't shit, so you can do whatever you want to do. But don't go off on EO for simply saying what he wants to say, bro. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there that don't have the balls to post what they want to say in platforms, especially people who have put their face out there. A lot of people love talking shit while they hide behind a computer, they hide behind a VTuber, or they hide behind nothing at all, and they simply just have nothing but words that they throw into the wind. Screw this guy because he said that. It's like, who are you? Your name is Jack Bobby Three Legs, and nobody knows you. So respect to EO for saying what he wanted to say, but I do have some tips that I want to give him and anybody reading, and this is from a nobody content creator like myself. First off, brother, people are going to come at you regardless of what you say, but if you want to put yourself in a position where you can say, listen, I have some things to my defense, don't put yourself in a situation where so many things that you say can be taken out of context, right? So I had a banger convo with some amazing creators. Who are they? Post who they are, tag them when you make your post, because I feel that if all these creators had a banger conversation with you and felt the same way, they should have no problem letting the world know, yes, this is how I think because our conversation was a banger, right? They shouldn't put you out there to take the blunt of whatever's coming by yourself. And if you ask them, yo, is it fine if I tag you, and they say no, they might not feel as confident about what y'all talked about. And if they say, yeah, go ahead and post them, then just post them to avoid problems, right? It's not a big deal. Second is, criticism and constructive criticism are two very different things, right? And a lot of people are going to come at you for this post simply because you don't seem to provide constructive criticism. You say all these things that Wuthering Waves is doing wrong, Wuthering Waves is missing, Wuthering Waves is doing that aren't really helping the game. The creators and figureheads aren't doing, how they're turning away from the game. But you're not providing, in this post at least, any ideas, any solutions to these problems. So if you could have, delved deeper into your thoughts and into what you had to say, maybe people wouldn't have been able to come at you. They would have still talked shit. They could have been like, what do you mean S tier content and React guides isn't good and they should make something else? You're not providing anything. But in the same post, if you had said, I don't know, maybe game shows, maybe funny videos, things like that, then they can't really say shit. So at the end of the day, dive a little bit deeper into what you got to say. And me personally, bro, I'm going to keep playing my games. I'm going to keep playing my gacha. And y'all know, this is going to be the one corner of YouTube when it comes to these gacha games that we keep it real 100%. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think. I'm going to tell you guys it is what it is. You can always come out to my streams. And if you say, listen, you suck, your mama suck, your dog suck, we still going to talk it out and see why it is you think that. And I'm going to just tell you, you suck too. We going to have a good old conversation, talk some shit. Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. And if you take gacha games seriously, you're a clown. If you're someone that can't take criticism, you're a goofball. And if you're someone that sits down to play gacha games, like it's not giving you absolute hemorrhoids to play these games all day and no life them, you might want to get yourself checked. But that's going to be it for this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, you guys already know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.
We can kind of just wrap it up here. I think we can kind of just wrap it up here. I think TLDR, I'm expecting a new video from Sentones extremely soon.